Now it's almost time for the 2022 edition of Money in the Bank, and fans want to know what's what going into the show. Join us now as we look at the most shocking last-minute rumors you need to know about this year's Money in the Bank. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 1. A series of unfortunate events. Now, although Money in the Bank hasn't been cursed with injuries like AEW's Forbidden Door event was, the show has had its fair share of problems, including poor ticket sales that forced the WWE to move it from the Allegiant Stadium to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and a number of injuries that sidelined top stars. Now, we've covered the various factors that played a role in this, including what some saw as overpriced tickets, an unknown card, and an overall stale product. Number 2. Uncertain times. And perhaps the biggest problems affecting Money in the Bank is uncertainty. Injuries to Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton and Rhea Ripley haven't helped, but consider this. For weeks the WWE have left fans uncertain whether the stipulation for Money in the Bank had changed, as hype videos stated that the winner would get a World Championship match at WrestleMania. Although this might seem like a simple social media department mistake, it led to many fans and news sites asking if the WWE had changed its policy regarding the rules for Money in the Bank. There's also uncertainty surrounding Undisputed Champion Roman Reigns, as both he and Brock Lesnar were taken off advertisement for the show. In Reigns' case, it's unknown if the WWE felt it wasn't worth using Reigns for a non-stadium show. As for Lesnar, the WWE brought him back for SummerSlam to replace Randy Orton. Right now, Roman's appearance all seem to revolve around his convenience, which makes for an awkward world title picture. Number 3. Coming up short. And one thing is certain, Money in the Bank is a lesson in failure, as the WWE president Nick Khan's quest to promote Money in the Bank as an A show akin to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble came up very short. They wisely moved the show to a traditional arena to avoid the embarrassment of a half-full stadium. Number 4. Boiling down to a B show. Looking at Money in the Bank, we can't escape the feeling that the WWE gave up on the event once it knew its ticket sales weren't strong enough for a stadium show. Although Roman Reigns vs Riddle wasn't confirmed for the premium event, it was all but a given until the show moved from Allegiant Stadium. Is the WWE punishing fans for not buying enough tickets to fill a stadium? Well, that's an interesting but unresolved question. As Dave Meltzer observed, the WWE seemed to move the match to SmackDown in order to give Fox something special, as Money in the Bank sold out in smaller venues and the WWE's premium events seem to have a built-in audience on the Peacock streaming service. Money in the Bank should be an entertaining show, but as fans have seen with recent shows like WrestleMania Backlash and Hell in a Cell, they are must-see events, as they often feature one or two marquee matches that fans haven't or can't see on television. Number 5. A meaningless match. Although ladder matches are traditionally spectacular, there's no escaping that the Money in the Bank briefcase, especially the men's version, has become a bit of a joke, with curious choices for the winner such as Otis and ineffectively executed cash-ins, as babyface Biggie cashing in on an injured heel Bobby Lashley. In Biggie's case, it didn't help that he had an average reign as champion. But regardless of who wins the Money in the Bank, the WWE's insistence on keeping the belt around Roman Reigns' waist makes it difficult for fans to get behind any babyface winner. The WWE has left the door open for a fantastic cash-in opportunity at SummerSlam, since Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are battling in a last man standing match. This year's winner could cash the briefcase in on a match's winner after both men have beaten each other senseless, or revisit Seth Rollins' historic cash-in at WrestleMania 31, where he joined Roman Reigns vs Brock Lesnar's match midway, pinning Reigns to win the World Heavyweight Championship. In fact, a Seth Rollins win would be ideal, as Seth Rollins has been calling Reigns out for over a year and holds the only win over Reigns since Roman's heel turn in 2020. Fans know Rollins would cash in the briefcase in a heartbeat if Reigns and or Lesnar couldn't defend themselves. Now, there is some intrigue surrounding potential winners, including Sami Zayn, whose ongoing efforts to become an official Bloodline member leads to speculation of what he would do if he won the briefcase. There's also Omos, who on paper seems unstoppable, but is the WWE going to put the belt on the Nigerian giant at this point in his career and risk having another great Khali on their hands? A babyface win seems meaningless, as most babyfaces cash in their briefcase with advance warning. That being with exceptions such as CM Punk and Big E, and Reigns seems untouchable right now. There's a bit of drama with both Drew McIntyre and Riddle looking to earn a spot against Reigns, but giving either man the win seems pointless. Number 6. A ray of hope. But while the Money in the Bank stumbled at the box office, at least in terms of being an arena show, the women's ladder match shows just how strong the women's division is on paper and how there's room to create a strong program for either Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. The women's division is arguably the most competitive division in the WWE, with solid challengers to Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, including Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch and Asuka, and a number of up-and-comers who could threaten SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey with the unpredictability of a Money in the Bank briefcase behind them. Throw in potential returns like Bayley and Charlotte Flair, as well as remembering that the briefcase holder can cash in their contract on either Raw or SmackDown champion, and there are several excellent matches on paper and opportunities to elevate young talent including Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi. Let's just hope Liv Morgan does win unless the WWE finally puts the belt on her. Number 7. Righteous Returns. Now, as always, the WWE Universe wants to know what surprise returns to expect for. There are still several slots open in the men and women's ladder matches, which leaves room for a surprise return. Right now, the biggest name going around is Bayley, who's reportedly been ready to return since at least WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair could return at Money in the Bank, interfering in Ronda Rousey's title defense against Natalya as she seeks revenge on Rowdy Ronda for kayfabe breaking her arm at WrestleMania Backlash. Number 8. Setting up SummerSlam. I don't be surprised if the WWE uses Money in the Bank to set up one or more matches at SummerSlam, chief among them John Cena vs Theory. With Bobby Lashley challenging Theory for the United States Championship at Money in the Bank, the WWE has various options to set up Cena vs Theory at the biggest party of the summer. This includes Cena confronting Theory after a tainted win over Lashley, or even Cena costing Theory the US Championship. Another wildcard is Rhea Ripley, who is reportedly out with a head injury but is expected back soon. Ripley, who was originally scheduled to challenge Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank, could show up and confront or attack, depending on a medical clearance, Bianca Belair during a title defense against Carmella. Another return that should be happening is that of Edge. Edge has plenty of reason to want to get revenge on his former minions in the Judgment Day, but Damian Priest, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley haven't been as rare as a blue steak, leading to serious questions about the group's viability. The WWE will have a prime opportunity to have Edge return if any of the Judgment Day's members make it onto Money in the Bank, even if they show up for just a promo. Another possibility might seem far-fetched is to have the Viking Raiders interfere in the Street Profits vs Usos tag team match. With the Raiders apparently having turned heel last week and are possibly starting a feud with the New Day, it might seem odd to see Eric and Ivar interfering in the tag match. Nonetheless, the Viking Raiders may seek revenge on the Usos or interfere in the match to make a statement. This could lead to a fatal four-way between the New Day, the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders and the Usos at SummerSlam. And finally, more matches. With 6 matches, including 2 ladder matches, there's no reason to think the WWE needs to add any more matches to Money in the Bank, particularly since there are so many wrestlers tied up in the men's and women's ladder matches. As we've seen over the last year, the WWE seems content with 6 or 7 matches on its B shows. But there you have it folks, the most shocking last minute rumours regarding Money in the Bank. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.